of Adjustment meeting, Monday, February 13th, 2017. I hereby declare this meeting of the Howell Township Zoning Board to be open. Adequate notice having been given pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Act in the following manner. First, on January 10, 2017, a copy of said notice was mailed to the Star Ledger and the Tri-Town News. Second, on January 10, 2017, a copy of said notice was hand-delivered to the clerk of the Township of Howell. Third, on January 10, 2017, said notice was posted in the office of the Zoning Board and on the bulletin board in the Howell Township Municipal Building, 4567 Route 9, Howell Township, New Jersey. In accordance with the Fire Prevention Code and your safety, please be advised that this facility is designed with 2 emergency exits, which are on your right at the front and rear of the meeting room. Furthermore, smoking is not permitted in the municipal building. Please take note that this meeting is being videotaped for possible future broadcast on Howell Township TV 77.
Thank you, Eileen. Could we have a roll call, please?
Yes, you may. Mr. Armada.
Here.
Mr. Cordelicchio.
Here.
Mr. Mertens.
Here.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Here.
Mr. Posh.
Here.
Mr. St. Clementi.
Here.
Mr. Turk.
Here.
Mr. Bloom.
Here.
Chairman Nansen.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Tropley, would you mind swearing in our professional?
Swear the testimony will be the truth and the Yes, the record should reflect that Mr. Howard is present tonight. Ms. Jean and Mr. Mallon have been excused given the adjournments on the calendar.
Okay. Thank you. Approval of minutes. Regular minutes, November 28, 2016. Eligible voters are Mata, Paz, San Clemente, Martins, Bloom, and Nansen. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Motion by Mr. San Clemente, second by Mr. Amata. Can we have a roll call?
Yes. Mr. Amata.
Yes.
Mr. Mertens.
Yes.
Mr. Posh.
Yes.
Mr. St. Clementi.
Yes.
Mr. Bloom.
Yes.
Chairman Nansen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Regular meeting, December 5th, 2016. Eligible voters are Mata, Posh, San Clemente, Martins, Bloom, and Nansen. Can I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Motion by Mr. San Clemente,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Mertens. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Amata.
Yes.
Mr. Mertens.
Yes.
Mr. Posh.
Yes.
Mr. St. Clementi.
Yes.
Mr. Bloom.
Yes.
Chairman Nansen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Do we have any vouchers?
We do have one voucher, which I will pass out. Hold on 1 second.
We'll pass it down and vote on it at the end of the meeting. Correspondence?
I do have correspondence. I have an email from Jennifer Krimko. She's the attorney for Wildbrook Ranch LLC, which was on tonight's agenda. She had a personal matter arrive, and she wasn't going to be able to be here tonight. She asked that we please carry this application to April 3rd, 2017, with no further notice. She's also asked that we could please be first on the agenda, which right now there's no one on the agenda, so I informed her she would be. She has also granted the board an extension of time through April 30th, 2017.
Okay, case number BA 16-06, Wildbrook Ranch LLC. Is there anyone in the audience for that case? Seeing none, this case will be adjourned to April 3rd, 2017 with no further notice. Any other correspondence?
Yes, I also have a letter from Mr. Todd Cohen. He is the attorney for Top Wireless Wholesalers. He said that please be advised my client has elected to withdraw the above referenced application from the zoning board. He will no longer be pursuing this application. Please close your file and return any remaining escrows to the client. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone in the office, in the audience for case number BA 16-09, Top Wireless? Seeing no hands, this will be adjourned forever unless they come back.
The only other matter on the agenda is Ford Road Equities. They're on the agenda for this evening, and I don't have any correspondence from them, but I did have a couple calls from residents regarding that because we had asked that they please renotice everyone. And I sent Mr. Pape's office, or Mr. Pape, an email asking if he had noticed everyone. I did not hear back from Mr. Pape, but his secretary called me today at 2 and said they would not be here tonight. I don't know if they plan on rescheduling or not. Mr. Pape was supposed to call me, and I have not heard from him.
Mr. Tropley, I want to open this up for discussion of the board on different options that we do have.
Mr. Chairman, I am looking over the various hearing dates that we've had in this matter. I note that the application was first heard on August 10th, 2015, and since that time, I realize there's a number of new faces on the board who haven't heard anything about this application. It's been carried a number of times, and I recall distinctly the last time that this matter was listed, it was the sentiment of the board that the applicant republish and renotice. I can't indicate to you that that's been done. Quite frankly, I don't think it's been done. If it had been done, it'd be on tonight. I think the board needs to consider whether or not they wish to dismiss this application without prejudice. Again, because it hasn't been substantially heard, and we've had 2 turnovers of the board since 2015, this application, in my opinion, if it's to remain viable, would practically have to start over again.
Yeah.
So for those reasons, and the fact that our board administrative secretary reached out today and got a very equivocal answer, if any, just saying, well, Mr. Pape will call you. With the greatest respect to Mr. Pape, I think the board has an obligation to the people here of the town to move these applications expeditiously. And if the applicant is not really showing any due diligence, I'm not suggesting you should dismiss it with prejudice. I don't think that's a bit of a severe means of resolving it. I would dismiss without prejudice. It would be my recommendation. Board secretary should indicate that that's what the sentiment of the board is, if in fact you feel that way. That would be something I would be comfortable with, particularly when I look at the dates and the amount of times it's been carried and the non-compliance with the direction of the board the last time this matter came forward. So those are my comments with respect to how I believe the application should be reviewed tonight.
Under my impression, the case was substantially completed. There was very little bit left to do. I remember whenever it came to the halt was basically on the traffic report.
Right.
That's whenever just everything came to a halt. And, you know, talking about the accidents and everything on Route 9 and Kent Road, we haven't heard anything or any follow-up since then.
The last I heard, to be honest, was I thought they were going to NJDOT to try to extend the divider because of the accidents, but I don't know the outcome and haven't heard anything else. So, I don't know.
Mr. Amott, we'll just go around and get some of the sentiments from the board.
I think they've been here, they've given their whole case, and when the accident report came around, for whatever reason, it came to a screeching halt. I mean, there was, 65 accidents on that road. I don't know how that influenced it.
There was a lot of deaths, too.
There's
Yes.
a number of fatalities.
Had 3 deaths and 23 people went to the hospital.
There
I
was
read
more
the
than 3 deaths,
14.
There was 14.
122 accidents. There was, I think, like 30 or 40 injuries. And then, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was over 10 fatalities.
Wow.
It was 14.
Was it 14?
I think there was 14.
Yeah,
Mr.
I know it was over 10.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
Mr.
But-
Chair, if I could just make a comment, rather than, and again, I respect the members' positions, but rather than discuss the relative merits of the case and the weight or strength of the arguments,
Right.
I think we should concentrate just on the fact
Yeah.
that nothing substantially has gone on in this application, I think, for the better part of a year, if not
It's
more.
been over a year.
And,
It's been
you
over a
know,
year.
And the board has given direction, and that direction hasn't been followed. And I think if we
Okay.
concentrate on that,
Okay.
and that alone, would,
14th of last year is when
Uh,
they gave the last testimony.
Yeah, I've been advised that March 14th of 2016 was the last time testimony was taken in this
Yeah,
matter.
but it got, the testimony came at that point in time, that was, the traffic report was issued, and it came to a screeching halt.
Right, but,
And I mean, there was no further testimony
Right.
beyond that.
right, and it's been carried 5 or so times.
Yes.
And again, the direction of the board
Okay.
was disregarded the last time with respect, a clear indication, and I'm sure
Right.
our secretary had advised them to renotice.
Right.
There was
We
no,
did.
it's,
That was,
there would be no question about it. So
Right.
if we could focus on that,
okay,
thank
what-
you.
There was
The
no due
question-
diligence as
Okay.
far as I'm concerned.
the question to the board is, should we dismiss this without prejudice?
My vote's yes.
Before we just decide, so, Ron, what is the difference between with prejudice and without prejudice?
With prejudice means that the board is absolutely foreclosing their ability to come back with this application. Without prejudice means that they can renotice, republish, do what they have to do, and it'll be up to the board to whether or not require them to testify again, or somehow, agree that the record of proceedings can be handled. But with prejudice is a rather severe and probably challengeable thing to do, meaning that you're completely foreclosing them. Suppose, for example, I mean, God forbid, if there was an emergency, and that's why Mr. Pape didn't respond today for some reason, I would be remiss in my duties to say, that, he should be given the benefit to come back. I mean, if that's the case, but without prejudice keeps the options open, it keeps your options open. With prejudice, essentially takes it off the table forever. And I think that's a remedy that I would not recommend.
Thank you.
Mr. Bloom?
I mimic Mr. Tropoli's comments. I believe that we should dismiss without prejudice.
I'm in agreement. I think we should dismiss without prejudice. It's been a year since they've been here, so I think that would be the best way to go.
Come back to you, Mr. Vice Chair. Mr.
I
O'Donnell?
agree. I think we should dismiss without prejudice, except we should also decide if they do decide to come back, do we make them start over, or we use the testimony that's already been applied?
I think we ought to leave that up to the professionals at the time of renewing their application.
I think that should be kept open right now.
Okay.
Mr. Turk?
Yeah, dismiss without prejudice.
Mr. Merton?
Dismiss without prejudice.
Mr. Secretary? Mr.
Thank-
Vice Chair?
Dismiss without prejudice.
I too concur with that.
We need to make a motion.
Okay, do I have a motion? Do I have a motion to dismiss without prejudice Ford Road Equities application?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Seconded.
Moved by Mr. Cardelicchio, seconded by Mr. Amata. This is case number BA 13-0. No, pardon me. Wrong page.
15.
Case number BA 15-10, Ford Road Equities. This is a motion and a second to dismiss without prejudice. Can we have a roll call?
Yes, you may. Mr. Amata?
Yes.
Mr. Cordelicchio?
Yes.
Mr. Mertens?
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mr. Posh?
Yes.
Mr. St. Clementi?
Yes.
Chairman Nancy?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And the
Thank
the
you.
procedure going forward, I would recommend, again, subject to the board, that our administrative secretary prepare correspondence rather than a resolution, just indicating that the matter was reviewed and discussed with respect to the time frame, and it was the consensus of the board that the matter be dismissed without prejudice, and see where it goes from there. But again, just an official letter from the board secretary, I think would
Okay.
cover it. If everybody's comfortable with that, that's the way to
Yes.
go. Thank you.
We don't need a vote on that.
Oh, no, I just wanted to
Okay.
indicate, I think that's the
Point of
proper
fact.
format.
Okay.
For information.
Okay, resolutions.
One more thing.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
just sent an email to all the board members tonight regarding the 2017 training session. Please check it out and let me know if you will be attending, or if you can't attend on that date, if you want to go to another date, or if you're not going at all, just so I have an idea of who's going and I can register you before it gets too late. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay. New members, it's very advisable. It's really a good course. Even old members. Yeah.
I like
Resolutions.
seasoned members better.
Case number BA 0806 SP 83 AAM Mills. Resolution granting amended preliminary final major site plan. Eligible voters, Ramada, Borelli, San Clemente, Mertens, Bloom, and Nansen. We had, going down, a copy of that resolution.
It's right here.
Yeah, but, no, that's the, there was some corrections and things made in the resolution. Most of it was typos, dates, where it said planning board, it should have said zoning board. And there was one little minor deal that I just crossed out because it didn't need the words, so.
You were all emailed a copy, but in case you hadn't seen it, I brought a red-lined copy for you.
Right. So, move, do you want to hold that resolution till the end of the meeting? That way the board can have a chance to look through it?
That's fine.
Okay. Moving on. Okay, before the board. Do you want to look at it? Oh, okay. That's right. Correct. Okay, before the board, case number BA 13-01, Haji Holdings LLC, 2-year extension of time. Application of Haji Holding LLC is applicant, owner seeking a 2-year extension on the approval received in 2013 to convert the 2-story dwelling into a real estate brokerage office, school, and training center in the ARE2 zone on premises known as Block 178, lots 36, 3601, 420 Adelphia Road. Expiration date, March 16, 2017. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. In this situation, my client did not realize the various compliances and applications that had to be submitted to various boards. Since then, we've made all the improvements. The engineering phase is virtually complete, but there are several governmental bodies that will not act on our applications because we're technically out of time, so we need an extension of time so that they will look at our plans and give us the approvals that we need.
And Councilman, can we have your name for the record, please?
Elias Schneider, I represent Haji Holding.
Have you received any permits at all, or no?
We have temporary COs because all the work is done. It's just a matter of tying up a couple loose ends at this point.
Okay.
Chairman, if I may.
Yes, sir, Mr. Howard.
This was brought on actually by a complaint regarding the signage at the site. As most of our cases go, code enforcement went out and investigated, and as we pulled back each layer, we got further and further to this point here today. So what we found was that the zoning board had approved the site for the use. We realized that the signs were out of compliance with that, but as we dug deeper, we realized that compliance was never given. So our direction at the time was to apply for the township's certificate of continued occupancy. That is the permit to allow the commercial use, to get the tenant on the record, and for us to do our checks. As we received that application, our engineering department realized that the case was out of time and requested that they come and get the extension of time. So we could review the application and then take everything into account and revisit the signage issue and have the whole application checked, the approval, and make sure everything was up to speed.
Okay, so this basically is to deal with the signs.
That was the issue that brought us there, yes, and there was a lack of the CCO, the Certificate of Continued Occupancy at the time, so we would have required that for it to be fully legal, which we would have required all the compliance for from the approval to be done. So once we have the extension of time and we have full compliance, we'll be able to deal with the sign issue and have the CCO, which will bring the site into full compliance.
Okay. Do you anticipate, let me ask you, do you anticipate the signs being within the realm that the board granted?
I believe
approval?
so, Your Honor. There was some confusion. One of the signs listed Our House Restaurant Training School being the name of the real estate school or something similar to that. And some people thought that that was another sign for Our House Restaurant, which it was not supposed to be a restaurant sign there. I think there was really some confusion. I don't think that necessarily we're in violation of what was intended, but I certainly can understand why the confusion arose.
The township has no problem reviewing the signs as they are in
Okay.
relation to the approval and getting the necessary permits or making any changes in the future. The township has no problem going about that separate from here.
Okay.
As long as we're under the understanding that what was approved in the zoning board resolution will be what the township is going on.
That's correct.
Okay. So, do you understand that? Is that
Yes,
clear?
Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Tropoli?
I don't see a problem with the board granting this. I mean, obviously, this is a matter that is also essentially at the request of the Township of Howell, provided that compliance is made with the resolution, which I'm looking at right now, and all permits are closed and compliance can be granted. I don't see a problem with that. I'm looking to see when the resolution was memorialized, and it appears to be
2013, I believe.
November 2013.
yeah, I think, was the 2013. So he's asking for a 2-year extension of approvals. Let me see.
There's something right in
Yeah, I have it here. So,
This couldn't be done in a year?
It's already beyond a year.
Okay, so they need the 2 years to,
It
okay.
expired November 15th.
Understood.
right, so
Okay.
this, we'll grant approvals to November 18, 2017, if the board approves that. Be a 2-year approval.
Okay.
And, Mr. Schneider, you feel that everything can be done
Yes.
by then?
Yes,
Okay, that should give you about 8 or 9 months to make approval.
that should be adequate.
Okay.
Matt, do you think y'all will be able to complete this within that time frame?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Any questions from the board? No. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve this.
For a 2-year extension?
Yes.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Amata, seconded by Mr. San Clemente. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Mr. Amata?
Yes.
Mr. Carlicchio?
Yes.
Mr. Mertens?
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mr. Posh?
Yes.
Mr. San Clemente?
Yes.
And Chairman Nansen?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay.
I'm sorry, did you want to just go in recess, not to do the executive session, but for the board members individually to look at the resolution? I see Mr. Sonnenblick is in the audience. I take no part in any discussion, just in terms of what you need to do, and we need an executive on litigation. So I'll just defer the balance of the meeting scheduling to you.
Okay. Do I have a motion on this resolution as prepared? With, for AAM Mills?
Or with the correction.
Yes, with the corrections.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution for A.A. Mills with the corrections.
I'll second that with corrections.
Motion by Mr. San Clemente, seconded by Mr. Amata, can we have a roll call?
Mr. Amata?
Yes.
Mr. Mertens?
Yes.
Mr. San Clemente?
Yes.
Mr. Bloom?
Yes.
And Chairman Nansen.
Yes.
Resolution's memorialized.
Okay. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the vouchers?
I'll make a motion to approve that voucher.
I'll second it, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Mr. Amata, seconded by Mr. San Clemente. Can we have a roll call, please?
It was Mr. Carlicchio, right?
I'm
Yes, it
sorry.
was.
Mr. Cordelicchio, thank you.
Isabel at the end of the list.
It doesn't matter.
We've skipped around too much here.
You ready?
Yes.
Mr. Amata?
Yes.
Mr. Carlicchio?
Yes.
Mr. Mertens?
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mr. Posh?
Yes.
Mr. San Clemente?
Yes.
And Chairman Nansen.
Yes.
Vouchers approved.
Ron, you get paid. Okay, at this time, is there any other business before the board? Well, we're going to go, that's what I was going to say. We're going to adjourn in after the executive session. We will not come back into meeting out here, so,
Can I go?
yes.
Executive session resolution. Whereas Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 13 of the New Jersey Revised Statutes requires that the public shall not be excluded from any meetings of a public body unless a resolution authorizing such exclusion is adopted at a public meeting, and whereas the Zoning Board of Adjustment of the Township of Howell has determined that such a closed meeting is required to discuss certain matters which are exempted from consideration with the public in attendance under New Jersey Revised Statutes 10:4-12, namely litigation. Now therefore be it resolved by the Zoning Board of Adjustment of the Township of Howell that the public shall be excluded from the next portion of this meeting, and that the Zoning Board of Adjustment will not reconvene in public session thereafter. Be it further resolved that minutes will be kept of the meeting in closed session, and the time and circumstances under which the discussion conducted in closed session can be disclosed to the public cannot be determined at this time. We need a motion to adjourn?
Need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by
Second,
Mr.
Mr.
Mertens.
Chairman.
Seconded by Mr. Cordelicchio. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Zoning Board adjournment.
Thank you.